Try something right now. Reach back for your earliest memory, the very first thing you can actually remember. Not a story someone told you, not a photo you've seen 100 times, an actual moment you were there for. Hold it in your mind. Whatever you found, you were probably around 3 or 4 years old. And behind it is a wall, a total blank, because before that moment, there are years of your life, the first 1,000-odd days you were alive, that you cannot reach at all. Not blurry, not faded, just gone. And here's what makes that genuinely strange. Those missing years weren't quiet. They were the most important, most intense, most crowded with learning years you will ever live. In that blank, you learned to see, to control your own body, to walk, to recognize faces, to understand that you are a separate person from your mother. You learned language itself, the most complex thing most humans ever master. You did all of it, and you kept not a single memory of any of it. It's not that nothing happened, it's that the most eventful years of your entire life were erased, or so it seems. And the truth of what actually happened to them is stranger than erased. This is the story of a phenomenon called infantile amnesia, a name Sigmund Freud gave it over a century ago, and one scientists have argued about ever since. It's not one cause, it's a stack of them, each doing something different, and it ends somewhere genuinely unsettling, with brand new research suggesting those lost years were never destroyed at all, that they may still be inside your head, right now, in a room you've simply lost the way back into. But to get there, you first need to understand the old story everyone believed, because it's about to be turned upside down. Deep in your brain, curled on each side like a little seahorse, is a region called the hippocampus. It's the part that takes a raw experience and binds it into a lasting memory you can travel back to. Without it, the present never becomes the past. It just evaporates. And in a baby, the hippocampus is a construction site, unfinished, still wiring and reorganizing itself for years. So for a long time, the explanation seemed obvious. A baby simply can't record memories, because the machine that records them isn't built yet. Case closed. Hold on to that idea. The baby can't record, because it's the thing the newest science is about to break. The other pieces of the puzzle aren't about recording at all. They're about something sneakier. What happens to a memory after it's made? Here's the first of those, and it's the most counterintuitive. In your earliest years, your brain isn't just immature, it is exploding with growth. New neurons are born and packed into the hippocampus at a staggering rate. You'd assume more new brain cells means better memory. It's the opposite. Scientists studying this in mice found something remarkable. That flood of new neurons physically reshapes the hippocampus. Fresh cells shove their way into circuits that already exist, rewiring the connections that were holding your memories. Picture a library where the books are still on the shelves, but someone keeps tearing up the catalog and renumbering everything. The book didn't vanish, you just can't find it anymore. That's what runaway brain growth does to an infant memory. It doesn't necessarily destroy the record, it scrambles the address that leads back to it. And the researchers proved it in reverse. Slow that neuron growth down, and the young animals remembered more. The baby brain loses its memories not despite growing so fast, but because it's growing so fast. And there's a second thing working against you, one that has nothing to do with cells and everything to do with you. To store the memory of an event, a moment with you at the center of it, you arguably need two things a baby doesn't have yet: language and a sense of self. Think about how you remember your own life, as a narrative. I did this, then this happened to me, and I felt that. That structure needs words to hang on, and a stable I to be the main character. But a baby under about 18 months doesn't yet grasp that they're a separate person in the world. Put one in front of a mirror with a dot on its face, and it won't recognize the reflection as itself until well into the second year. And it has no language to turn an experience into a story. So the events happen, vividly, in full color, drenched in emotion, but they get filed with no labels on them, no words, no "this happened to me," nothing the adult you could ever search for. The moments were recorded, they just went into the archive unlabeled. And here's the proof that this labeling really matters, because it's genuinely surprising. The age where your memories begin isn't fixed, it moves, depending on the culture you grew up in. Maori New Zealanders, whose culture places enormous value on storytelling and retelling the past, have some of the earliest first memories on record, reaching back to around 2.5 years old. Western adults tend to land near 3.5. Adults from several East Asian cultures, which traditionally emphasize the group over the individual life story, often don't have a first memory until closer to 4.5. Same human brain, same biology. But the more the adults around you turned your early life into spoken stories, into labeled records, the earlier your own memories begin. The filing system is partly taught, so put it together and notice which way all the arrows point. The hippocampus is still half built, so the records are fragile. A flood of new neurons is constantly scrambling the addresses that lead back to them. And you have no language and no stable self to label them, so even the ones that survive have nothing you could ever search by. 3 different forces, a fragile recorder, a scrambled catalog, and unlabeled files, and look what they add up to. Not, mostly, a brain that fails to record. A brain that records and then loses every possible path back to what it recorded. That distinction is about to matter enormously. 2 honest things first. That earliest memory you pulled up at the start, there's a real chance part of it is fake. Not a lie you're telling. Your brain isn't fooling you on purpose. But we now know people routinely stitch together memories out of old photographs and stories they were told, and experience the result as a genuine first-hand recollection. You may be remembering a photo of the moment, not the moment. From the inside, it's almost impossible to tell. And second, scientists still don't fully agree on how much each of these forces matters, or whether there's another we haven't found. This is not a solved case, which is exactly why the newest research is so exciting, because it took the oldest assumption of all and shattered it. For 100 years, the assumption was that these memories are simply gone, never properly recorded, or destroyed for good. 2 recent findings blow that apart. First, the mice. Remember that flood of neurons that seems to wipe out infant memories? Scientists ask the real question, are those memories actually erased or just made unreachable? So they tag the exact brain cells that held one specific memory in a baby mouse. Then, in the adult mouse, long after that memory was forgotten, they switched those same cells back on with a pulse of light. And the memory came back. The animal behaved as if it suddenly remembered something it had lost, for the equivalent of years. The record was never destroyed. It had been sitting there the whole time, waiting for someone to find the address. And then, in 2025, scientists did the human half. They slid awake babies into brain scanners, showed them images, and watched the infant hippocampus light up as it encoded a memory. In babies as young as 1 year old, babies do record, which flips the entire 100-year-old story. The problem was never, mostly, that your infant brain couldn't write memories down. It's that it wrote them, filed them away, and then the growing brain scrambled the catalog, and the wordless self never labeled them. The record of your first birthday, your first steps, the face of someone who held you every single day, it may not be erased at all. It may still be in the archive. You've just permanently lost the way back to that shelf. And that is a strange thing to hold, because those unreachable years are the foundation of everything you are. The person you became was assembled in that blank, the way you attach to people, your deepest sense of safety or unease. Your very first taste of love and language, all of it laid down by a version of you that you will never be able to remember being. You are the finished building, standing on a foundation you are not allowed to look at. And so is everyone you've ever met, a whole person, carrying a hidden, formative childhood that even they can't reach. We are all built on years we can't return to. So the next time you reach back, past that first flickering memory, into the blank where the rest of you was made, and you hit that wall, understand what's really on the other side of it. Not nothing, a whole person. The one who learned to focus their eyes on a face, to stand for the first time, to fall in love with their parents before they had a single word for any of it. The records of that person may be sealed behind a door you'll never open again, but you carry everything they learned, in every single thing you do. The memories are locked away. You are the proof they happened.